The two luchos represent two sides of man. The first luchos represents the divine side. The second luchos represents the side of man that leads towards the animal. Because intelligence is a continuum. Intelligence is not a point. It's not a dot in the middle of a line. It's an entire spectrum. And so, from the tiniest creatures containing minimal intelligence, intelligence gets deeper and more developed in the various species, usually in accordance with brain size. And then we have the ultimate vessel for intelligence, which is the human body. The human body combines the intelligences of trillions of stars in one organism. This is why it can do all the complex things that it can, because it has so many different life forms coming together, creating this perfect continuum of processes in order to allow a human thought to form. And this happens constantly in billions of organisms, day in and day out, trillions of times. That's how perfect this intelligence is. And so the capacity for this intelligence is infinite. It means that this intelligence has the ability to completely merge with the source code that creates it, with the source light, we might call it. Wisdom, being, spirit, spirit of all spirits. The intelligence in the human body can attain access to that state. As far as we're concerned, it's a state. When we arrive there, it's a being. But that being is in a world of potential. That being is not manifested by any man currently, and therefore life is a mess. The intelligence that's running our world is not what we would like it to be. It's much closer to the animal intelligence because man is closer to the animal intelligence. Man gets exactly as he measures. So when man manifests a deeper level of intelligence, the divine wakes up in the upper realms and takes charge of the globe. This is what happened by Yetzias Mitzrayim. Moshe Rabbeinu entered the level of intelligence where he had direct access to the collective, to the spirit within all spirits, to the intelligence that runs life. And so he could have discussions with that being in order to know its desires, its intentions, when Moshe Rabbeinu entered that level. But what's going to happen in the future of man is that not only is man going to have access to speaking to that being, man is going to become that being, or rather we might say, that being is going to become man. This is the destiny that must be fulfilled. Otherwise, this world never would have happened. Just like a pregnancy doesn't take place only for the purpose of the birth, so too, this animal kingdom wasn't arranged by divine destiny only because of the divine future that awaits it. And so man is still climbing that continuum of intelligence away from the animal and towards the divine. But man hasn't reached his destiny yet, and therefore he still suffers. And so the second luchos, we might say, are the practical mitzvahs. The first luchos is the spiritual instruction. Anochi Hashem Elokecha, I am the divine within you. Lo yeh lecha alem acherem, don't serve any foreign ideas or beliefs that don't reside in reality. Lo yisisa Hashem Hashem Elokecha lashav, don't carry the name of the divine in vain, which means you, because you're alive, are carrying the name of the divine. The name of the divine is life, existence, being. Don't carry it in vain. Don't go through your life in a mundane fashion, when in reality, your true nature is divinity. Your true nature is full realization. So don't carry that name in vain. To remember the design of the human body, the design of the rotations of the stars that create our body, and to know the purpose of things, to understand why we are motivated to do what we're motivated to do. And so we have to remember the holiness of human pleasure, which is our drive, our energy, our reason for manifesting, the spiritual pleasure, which is the basic pleasure of existence, the understanding and realization of what we have received while we're having this experience, and the celebration of life itself, the celebration of the capacity to find peace within this structure that was designed by the ultimate wisdom. Kabed esavicha v'esimecha, respect your father and your mother, respect your history, respect whatever brought you to be who you are, respect your own yesterday, respect your childhood, respect everything that happened that made you you, because all those things are part of you, they are you. If you disrespect them, you're disrespecting yourself. You won't be able to unite. So this summarizes the instruction not to violate our spiritual nature. The second tablet is about protecting our physical being, protecting our practical existence. Don't kill. Don't be with women that are already designated specifically to someone else. Don't steal. Don't lie in court. Don't lie about other people. And don't covet. Don't have desires for things that are someone else's. All these things will allow you to exist in peace on the physical plane. This shouldn't have had to have been said. If we said Anochi Hashem Elokecha, then all these things can be understood from themselves. But this is the nature of the Torah. The nature of the Torah is to expand. This is why we have all the mitzvahs that come as a tree. It's like grapes that come in a bundle. So you have the Iker, you have the Shoresh, which is Anochi Hashem Elokecha, which is the reality, the belief that everything is the same being, that everything is oneself. And from there comes forth all the branches of different concerns that we have because of this. And then we have the actual fruit, the grapes, which are the specific mitzvahs. Do that, or don't do something else. Some of them are easy to comprehend. Some of them are practical to a certain degree. And others are symbolic. Others need to be understood in the symbolic level and the metaphoric level in order to understand why this would be beneficial to the one who created us. What would it serve? What purpose in the world does it serve? But everything at the end of the day is serving the very first mitzvah, because the whole Torah, not only the whole Torah, all words, all human words, reside in the reality, in the perception of what we call emunah, belief. So everything in the Torah resides in the world of belief. The purpose of the Torah is to point us to the world that is emes, to the world that is the truth. And so, Anoich Hashem Elokecha is the truth. The truth is that we were designed by a force that we can't know. Nobody ever knew. There wasn't a single human being that knew that force in a direct way, but there were human beings who received instruction from that force because they became their true selves. They manifested, they realized their true nature. And by doing so, they gained access to reality. And that meant that they can tune in to the wisdom that created us. And so that truth of Anoich Hashem Elokecha is served by all the mitzvahs which are there in order to create and maintain the proper belief that ties us back to reality, so that we don't lose access to reality like we have. Humanity has lost access to reality. If humanity wants access to reality today, they have a lot of work to do. They're very, very distant. They're completely immersed in the world of imagination. Not only is the human imagination, their own imagination, taking control of their brain, but now, through technology, we have many other people's imagination taking control of any individual brain. So the war against reality is deeper, is more severe than it ever was in the past. And this results in struggles, emotional struggles, psychological struggles, because the nature of our spiritual being is violated when we misunderstand our purpose. When we serve a God that doesn't exist, that violates our nature. When we serve interests of someone else's agenda, that violates our nature. So we have to rediscover reality, rediscover what it means to be us, and that starts with the realization of Anoich Hashem Elokecha. Hey, there's somebody trying to live over here. Someone very big, someone very important. While we're busy with our own little problems, there's a much bigger problem behind us. And when that bigger problem is resolved, none of our little problems will matter anymore. So all little problems will get resolved when the big problem gets resolved. Not only will the little problems get resolved, we're suddenly going to realize that the little problems were never problems. The only problem was the big problem. The little problems were problems in our belief. They didn't reside in truth. The truth didn't care. We decided we care. Nothing else cared. So we could have decided not to care. So everything is here to support this principle. And this principle is the reason for all of religion. Without this principle, there's no religion. Because how would we know? There has to be grounding in reality. If there's no grounding in reality and we're just following words, then anybody can give whatever meaning they decide. And this is exactly what happened throughout the generations. Every generation had its own version of what the words mean and lived in a totally different reality. Some more comfortable if they had kind leaders, and some had to go through brutal lives of continuous suffering simply because their leaders interpreted the words in horrible ways. And so the only real interpretation is an interpretation that's grounded in truth. The interpretation that's grounded in truth starts with Anochi Hashem Elokecha. Who are we serving? Let's first establish that before we give our lives away for serving whatever it is. What are we serving? Who are we serving? Klal Yisrael received the first luchos. Chazal say they received complete freedom. They had no evil inclination after that realization. There was nothing inside of them that wanted to cause any damage to anything or anyone, or do anything that's questionable, or have any manifestation that might have the slightest negative effect on reality. But then they got scared because their leader left them and they weren't sure anymore that they properly understood exactly what he meant. And then suddenly the doubts, the thoughts, the interpretations, the maybes, and before you know it, they're already serving ideas. They already lost their power. They already gave away all their power to someone or something else by believing in that. And for that sin, we suffer until this very day. Every suffering includes a punishment for that sin. We're talking about more than 3,000 years of suffering, and not simple suffering, severe suffering. All because they were too afraid to follow the truth. So they wanted a story. They wanted to believe something that'll make them feel safe, but something that wasn't real. "3,000 years. It's not a punishment because, oh, look how bad you are. Now I'm going to hurt you. That's not how the universe works. It's a punishment simply saying, what level of intelligence are we dealing with? How much do they need to suffer until they realize what they're doing wrong? It's simply a question of intelligence. It's not intellectual intelligence. It's not how much books have you read. It's how alive are you? How much have you understood what it means to be you? Do you deserve better? And when we will deserve better, we'll receive better. Because the world was already designed for much better. The world wasn't designed for suffering. Suffering is a malfunction of reality. Suffering is a malfunction of human behavior. It's a malfunction of the human intelligence to understand itself. And then all of the processes created by the most sophisticated intelligence get aggravated, get frustrated by the lack of intelligence of human behavior. The lack of intelligence of human beliefs. And this is why studying, learning, developing is against all the mitzvahs. It's the most important mitzvah because you're not going to redeem your master unless you develop your intelligence. Your intelligence of understanding your master, of understanding who it is that wants to be you. And why is that painful? Why doesn't it feel like bliss? Ask him. He knows. It's him in there. So find out what is it that's affecting your experience most. Become intelligent about what it means to be you so that you can be a better you. Because only then can you approach the first mitzvah, Anochi Hashem Elokecha. Only then can you really start understanding who it is you're trying to serve. It's not something that anybody can tell you. It's something that is waiting to be discovered inside of you. It's already there. It's already expressing itself. Now it just needs the right information to know how to express itself so that it can be understood by itself and by those around it. The Torah is trying to preserve the knowledge of our species, the knowledge of how we were supposed to experience this experience, how we were meant to be. Because selfish humans, egotistic humans, will not tell you your value, will not tell you what you deserve. It's not in their interest. In fact, in order to control you, it's in their best interest to belittle you, to make you feel small, to make you feel useless, to make you feel inferior, inadequate, so that you don't make any trouble. You do what you're told. But that's not in your best interest. That doesn't comply with Anochi Hashem Elokecha, that human potential must be developed in every way, shape, or form possible, because that's what we're here for. We are looking for that developed human that's going to explain to us what we're doing wrong. So we need to inspire each other to develop. The faster the better. Whatever we can do to assist each other to develop is just going to get us to our goal much faster. So at least we want to change our direction and start investing in reality. No need to focus on the stories or the drama, or the possibilities and potentials that might be and that could be, but more to focus on what already is, to make that better every moment, whenever we can, whenever we're available, whenever our internal and external conditions allow for it. To invest in reality, to invest in humanity, to invest in making what is better. Because we've been making what is worse for a very long time. We've got a lot of work to do just to undo the damage. People have been fighting and killing each other on this planet for a very, very long time. Humans have been suffering from some type of a brain disease that only once we heal we'll know how to diagnose. But it resulted in the types of aggression that cause genocide, not once, not twice, hundreds of times, thousands of times. And this disease, even when it doesn't cause genocide, it still causes a lot of damage. Even when we're not killing each other, it still causes us to hurt each other on many different dimensions. Whether it's emotional or it's spiritual beliefs, the beliefs in the self, the beliefs about life, the beliefs about the world, we damage each other in all these places without even knowing, because we suffer from this disease, the disease that makes the human mind turn against its owner. It causes the human individual to turn against its kind, the collective of its own species. It causes man to become his own worst enemy. To receive the Torah means to believe that all this is not natural, that this was not meant to be, that this is not our way, this is not who we are. There's a big mistake over here. We're something else entirely. We're a creature of love. We feed on love. We get energy from love. This is what we were designed to be. We also receive energy from fear, but that's not our design. That we can only handle temporarily, and then it wears out our organs. But love is the opposite. The more energy we create with love, the more healthy our organs, the more unity, the more everything comes together. Everything does its part happily. Our organs have our own attributes. Every cell in our body has our own attributes. The state, the emotion that we experience, it penetrates everything that we are in all dimensions, in all worlds, in all levels. And so this first mitzvah, this is the mitzvah of love. It's me. How can you not love me? How can something not love itself? And then, don't have any other things that you serve that might cause damage to your relationship with me. I don't have anything else that's important to you in front of my face. That's the commandment of fear. Well, the fear is only based on love. The fear is, don't jeopardize the love. Don't do something that might make you forget the love, that might distance you from your core, that might cause you to get into conflict with reality. So the fear is here to protect the love. If there's no love, then there's no room for fear. You're afraid of what? Who? Who are you afraid for? Why do you even care? You care about the future? Do you know who you're going to be in the future? Will the future be able to come back and tell you what happened there? The fear is not to lose the love. The love is what keeps life alive. Everything that lives is love. If not for love, it wouldn't exist. Someone loved it enough to make it be. So that's Anochi Hashem Elokecha. I, the one, the only, know me, and then you love everything. Because you are everything. You're just looking at it from within your body. It's all the same everything. Everything created by one who is the root of all. You are part of that one. You can't be anyone else. So may we merit the revelation of that one. May he show us his kind face in the complete redemption. May it happen soon. Any questions? Okay. Good night, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Thank you. Good night.
Have a good Shabbos.
Thank you. Good night. Good Shabbos.
Thank you, Rabbi. Good Shabbos from the guys down under.
Good Shabbos, Mike. Good Shabbos. Regards to the guy.
Oh, well, it's already Friday morning here.
Yeah.
Cold to everyone.
Good Shabbos. Yeah. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Good
We miss
Shabbos.
you.
Good
everyone.
Shabbos.
Good Shabbos. Shabbos David.